Good morning, Detective. I hope you were comfortable last night.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. The room was more than pleasant, merci. I'm afraid.
I can't imagine any of us slept.
Hopefully, guilt will be weighing heavily on someone's
I'm sorry if I was not much help last night.
On the contrary, your inside knowledge of the guests was of great help to my...
A development? Oh, Detective, I knew I could count on you.
It may not be the news you had wished for, though.
Addressed to me? I don't know how...
Pardonnez-moi, mademoiselle. Although it has been written in the same manner, using similar phraseology, it was...
I'm sorry, Detective, I don't understand.
I found it in the Major's study yesterday while conducting my preliminary search. Whether he is the author...
His position?
Oui, even in a house this size, you must see a lot of each other.
I enjoyed having him here. When I was away with Gideon, it was comforting to know Maman was not alone. Although, he's worked with Mr. Da Silva.
What can you tell me about their relationship? Work...
There is not much to tell, only that there is no love lost between them. Heavens no, he could not...
You did not hesitate for a moment.
Why would he do such a thing? And then to send a letter to himself. It just... He was always quite private about his work. I know that he was helping...
I found a check addressed to the Major from Monsieur Da Silva. It noted security...
Ah, that's right, security. With his military training, he helped Mr. Da Silva prepare for any trouble with the strikes.
Merci for your time, mademoiselle.
Useful?
Exactement.
Good morning, Detective. You slept well?
I'm afraid I did not. I was hoping for at least a moment of pleasant sleep. Finding the Major's killer is the only thing that will put...
In that snow. If someone was out there, we'd have another body on our hands.
I realize how strange it sounds. I would not believe it myself.
Staff have reported seeing things in the dark before, but it always just turns out to be shadows. It was likely just your mind playing tricks. I'm afraid our Lizzie is not well. I think the events of yesterday were too much for her. We'll have to just make do without her this morning.
As well...
She is currently eating breakfast alone in the dining room. It's how she prefers it. I would, but I'm afraid I found this morning that the telephone lines aren't working. The snow continued, even if we could use the telephone. I don't...
In that case, it will be up to myself alone.
I'll let you know if anything changes. But until some of the snow clears, enough for the carriages to arrive, we are snowed in. Taken care of. Master Demir and his brother, after sobering up, helped me move him into the cellar.
Très bien. I imagine there is no reason.
Besides me, no one. Once this snow clears,
Your assistance has been most valuable as always. Countess. I want...
That is it, detective? No small talk?
I am afraid not, Countess. With the murderer still loose in the house, my mind is...
Well then, detective.
Comment, madame?
I thought you might like to know what I found on the Major's body. That certainly piqued your interest.
A man has been murdered, and you find it acceptable to fool around and joke.
Oh, please, detective. Do you really think so little of me? Archibald asked for my assistance. He knows of my...
It was not his place to grant you access to the body.
I shall... A single stab wound, which you no doubt already knew. Judging by the depth of the wound, I would say there was no great force. If I had to say what weapon was used, a small...
I understand it may be difficult for one to keep such information to yourself, but I ask you to try. S'il vous plaît, Comtesse. Bonjour, Monsieur Damir.
Detective Poirot. How...
The truth, Monsieur. With each step towards uncovering the blackmail...
Is there some... Archibald came to me and asked for my help in the matter.
Merci for your help. It is a job that only the
It's a job that had to be done. Although it may have affected...
How so?
At the sight of the body, the color drained from his face. Once we had reached the cellar, I have not seen him since last night. I'm sure he will have been fine after... He does not need his younger brother checking in.
Perhaps that is exactly what he
I'm not sure what he told you yesterday, detective, but he's a big boy.
I worry that may not be the case, Monsieur. His time in the war came up in conversation more than once during our conversations.
He's still talking about it? I thought talking to the doctor... Felix and Madame Vandenbosch are the only ones with keys, as far as I'm aware. Oh, and Archibald.
Merci. Some would say a lucky guess. Another success.
If it will help you find the Major's killer, of course. When he returned from the war, he was a different man.
I cannot speak from experience, but I can only imagine the horrors he must have...
The first weeks he would wake in the night, screaming. I found him one night, cowering behind a desk in the study.
That is not why you two are no longer close?
And not at all, Detective. We were always very different in nature. While I had always wanted to follow an academic path...
And yet, he ended up in the military.
Our father demanded that he at least try to do something with his life. And when some of his friends joined the army, he signed up. It wasn't long before he moved out from the family home after his return from the army. I always assumed that he had put the war and everything that came with it.
Ah. Huh. Huh. Aha. Aha. Oh. Aha. Bonjour, madame. May I offer...
Thank you, Detective, but they are not necessary. What...
I was hoping you would be prepared to answer some...
If I must. I'm sure you're aware he was not the easiest man to get along with.
A hot temper is reason enough to kill...
His mouth often acted before his brain. Perhaps... I assume you are talking about the supposed...
Oui, madame.
It arrived shortly after the first. Rather coincidental.
I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say.
He no doubt had secrets hidden away. But do you honestly think Felix had anything of value to his name worth threatening him for?
Perhaps you should enlighten me.
Well, he was here, living in my house, eating my food, prepared by my staff. Does that answer your question? Seeing as I heard Mr. Becker's in what I would describe as an unnecessary...
You heard them yourself.
How could I not? The volume they were shouting at, I could hear them from the study in my room.
You did not think it fitting to tell me this yesterday?
I didn't think Felix was going to wind up dead and a murderer loose in my house. My apologies, Detective. I wouldn't put it past him to have written it himself in the hopes of getting some sympathy from me.
And the other letters?
He probably wrote those too. If Angeline paid the first, that would have given him the money to pay the second letter. He is the White Knight, saves the day, and expects to live here happily ever after. What is it you wish to know?
You two have been friends for some time now. And while
If you are trying to insinuate that Mr. De Silva and I are running around like schoolchildren...
Oui, I understand they worked together. Investment...
Mr. De Silva was the voice of reason that my husband should have listened to more often, instead of throwing our money at businesses that were already on the verge of bankruptcy.
Merci, madame. I shall... Oh. Bonjour, madame. You must be the wonderful cook.
Wonderful and modest, sir. I am Rihanna.
My taste buds thank you for the ravishing meal last night. It has been some time since I ate so well.
Glad to hear it, sir.
S'il te plaît, madame. Detective...
In that case, mademoiselle is fine for me, and I will ignore your presumption of marriage.
Très bon, mademoiselle.
I did. Monsieur Archie told me what had happened. Bruises can swell fast, so I took him some ice to bring it down.
How was the Major when you saw him?
Grumpy, as always.
I suppose one would not take kindly to being punched as he was.
Punched or not, he was as ungrateful as ever. That's right. I've seen staff come and go, but a house always needs a trustworthy cook.
I agree. But if I was to eat what you prepare every day, I fear I may be the size of La Maison.
Not a bad thing, detective. You could do with some meat on your bones.
Well, with the snow still not clearing, we may be stuck here for the weekend. Perhaps I should look to adjust my pantalon buttons. I shall not keep you any longer. Merci, mademoiselle. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. Oh. Ah. Huh.
Is there something I can help you with? You have got the wrong end of the stick, detective. Maman has snapped at him recently, but it was nothing more than that. It was something to do with the letter. I heard them in the library before Maman shouted and he stormed out of the room past me.
Could it have been the blackmail letter that instigated...
Why would Maman be upset with him over the letter?
Madame is of a very different opinion from yourself regarding his connection with the letters.
That is what she told you? She has always been one to make a quick, if not rash decision, but she cannot truly believe that. I don't recall telling him directly. I did not want Maman to find out it had been paid. If he knew...
Madame believes he may have been behind all the letters, and taking your payment of the first, then used it to pay the second and be the hero in you and your mother's eyes.
I never knew Maman had such an imagination. Where would she get a story like that from?
That is a question I was hoping you may be able...
You have met him? Do you really think he's capable of such a devious plan?
It is a plan only the most crooked and underhanded could create. Is that the Major? I am not so sure. I shall not keep you any longer.
Whatever you need, Detective.
Your assistance has been most valuable as always.
Is there something I can...
I shall not keep you any longer. Merci, mademoiselle. This will not get me any... Things are beginning to...
Is there something I can help you with? I'm afraid it had been that way for some time. Maman is not forthcoming with her emotions, as I'm sure you are aware.
What gave you that impression?
There was not one particular thing that she expressed. It was just the way she spoke to him, and up...
I shall not keep you any longer.
Whatever you need. Certainly.
Huh. Ah. Aha. What a... The pieces of the puzzle are... What a... Magnifique.
Detective Poirot, I have been asked to inform you that Lady Van den Bosch has returned to her room, and she wishes not to.
Merci. Madame certainly has...
They may not be the exact words she used, but I'm sure you can imagine. Excuse me, I have some further duties to attend to in the pantry.
Ah. Huh. Ah. Huh. Hmm. Ah. Aha. Huh. Oh.
Detective Poirot, what?
I have something I wish to discuss.
Well, I hope it is important enough.
I assure you it is.
Good, because this has gone on far too long.
I can understand your frustrations.
You were once an incompetent officer.
If I was not being lied to and misled at every turn, perhaps...
I hope you are not so...
I am suggesting that if I had the support that everyone claims they are offering, we would be in a very different situation.
If you... We met before Angeline was born, so he was often at the house when she was growing up.
And where was it you two met?
I was attending an event. Felix was also in attendance as a serving officer.
So it was not through the Viscount that you two...
I did not require my husband to start conversations on...
It was you that instigated it then.
My, detective. That active... Edwin spent much of his time away on business before Angeline was born. Felix was a welcome distraction from the loneliness of the house.
You were alone in the house.
The staff continued their duties, of course, but trying to get any sort of sophisticated or cultured conversation from them was like drawing blood from a stone.
And when Angeline was born?
Edwin remained at home. It was his duty as a father.
And the Major?
He had his own business and life to tend to, but we remained in touch via letter. I'm sure he has hundreds of letters.
I refer to the letter addressed to you. The one of a...
Romantic nature. Please.
He made his intentions quite clear in the letter. I must admit, I myself...
You really do have quite the active imagination, detective.
I think that is all for now. The pieces of the puzzle of... Some would say a lucky guess.
Is this He may have stayed in my home, but Felix was...
But it does not surprise you.
We have been friends, and he has been there for Angeline for...
What I do find strange is that if he did hold a flame for you, why...
If he...
I think that is all for now.
Detective Poirot, are you any
I am, mademoiselle. I can
So the author...
Oui, but it will not be long before they are apprehended, and the only letters they shall be
You're I haven't seen that book in so long. Yes, it was a gift for my 10th birthday. I have read it from cover to cover countless times. He left such a lovely inscription too.
It sounds as though there is a side to the Major I did not get to see.
Not common, but if he had been away for some time, he would bring me a small memento from his travel. There were. I'm afraid they may have gathered some dust being in the storage room for so long. I kept them in hope of giving them to my child when the time comes.
It sounds as though he had always cared about you.
His presence at the house was comforting for us both after Father died, even if sometimes he was a little too overprotective. How do you mean, Detective?
I imagine a house of this size is rather costly, keeping it in the immaculate condition it is in.
Maman looks after the financial side of the house, but I think she has had to ask him more than once for a contribution of sorts. I'm sorry, Detective. I did not intend to leave your mind so full.
No apology is required. It actually made me question my whole chain of thinking. What if there had been a collusion between them, and the
Oh my, Detective!
Every guest has a motive. You confirmed that with the mention of Mademoiselle Conrad and the Major's fight. Supplying one another with a rock-solid...
But not you.
Correct, Mademoiselle.
That's right. Ever since I can remember, Felix has been around.
It seems as though she has a number of support networks. The Major, her...
Maman has many friends. I know how she may seem to Moss, but once you break the heart...
There is a further shell waiting to be broken.
Oh, very good, Detective.
Forgive me, Mademoiselle.
It's quite all right. You are not the only one that feels a razor tongue. She's grateful you are here, especially now, whether she shows it or not. They have often come to blows when it concerns Maman. They are both trying to protect her, but they themselves cannot seem to get along.
She spoke of his desire to join the... how do you describe it? Social elite.
This isn't the first time she has vocalized that concern. She thinks the Major was just using our family name to make his way to the top.
And you do not agree?
I will not deny he has shown interest in Maman's social circles, but they have been friends since even before I was born. Surely all those years of friendship was not just to raise his social standing.
I shall not keep you any longer. Things are beginning to become... Another success.
Is this really... Who I allow in my house is none of your business.
I did not think you were one for charity.
I would not expect you to think much of anything. There is no need to talk on it any further, but I'm sure you... He was a man that required no protection, Detective. Especially...
That is the impression I had of him, which is why your defensive stance warrants questioning.
Your insistent questioning on such trivial matters are getting on my last... How many times do I have to tell you? There was no romantic feelings between us. I have grown weary...
Madame, you continue to withhold the...
And you continue to get on my last nerve. I am not obliged to tell you every detail of my private life.
But when it impedes my investigation...
If only you were this focused on finding the black...
Madame.
Very well. I did not lie about how we met. I was attending an event, raising money for... It had been some time since I had returned home, and was rather missing English soil. I was aware of Felix. He was a warm reminder of home, and I enjoyed conversing with him. We shared walk. I shall go no further with the details, but I will say, I had no intention on being unfaithful to my husband.
The Viscount never questioned Mademoiselle...
In his mind, he had no reason to, and he shouldn't have had to. It was my mistake to bear. If he knew the truth, I told Felix that he was to stay away, but he had no intention to. He became an uncle figure to Angeline, and they grew closer after Edwin's death. I could not tell her the truth. Too much time had passed. The secret remained only between...
And what were the Major's thoughts on revealing the truth?
He wanted to tell her everything. He wanted her to know exactly who he was. But I told him no. It would not have been the poignant reconciliation that he... It must be. But I have told no one.
And the Major?
Felix promised me he wouldn't tell a soul, and I believed him.
You did not think anyone knew, and that is why...
If you bow to these criminals, they will only... I tried to retrieve them from the safe after everyone had retired last night. But when I opened the safe, they were nowhere to be...
When I entered the study this morning, they were as visible as a red notice on a police station wall.
I would appreciate if you did not compare them to the face.
Pardon, madame.
But that does mean someone else in the house has seen them. I don't...
A mystery that is still yet to be solved. I think that is all for now.
Detective Poirot,
Monsieur Starling, I must admit,
you'll be wrapping the case up soon, then?
One has never finished learning, monsieur, and in this case, I shall need to
It might help to vocalize your thinking.
Monsieur, would you gather the guests and staff in the salon?
Right away, Detective. Can I ask for what reason?
I shall reveal all once everyone is together.